Hi, this is Matt from Skybow. Do you have international users on your SharePoint and would like to make your solutions fully multilingual? Then I will show you how to achieve that. SharePoint has some built-in possibilities. So on each site, you have the option under the site settings and then language. You can activate different languages. So this is there to translate a couple of things. And it's about these 5 things. So columns, the list name itself, the content types, the navigation, footer for communication sites. So it's basically about the structure and the list, but it will not cover, so this setting will not cover the content itself. So let's say the list content for sure, the documents and all these things, they will not be translated. It's just about the navigation elements and the stuff you see here that will be translated into the language of the user. No content. There will be one option if you want to have side pages like news or pages itself. Then you can activate this flag here and then activate additional languages and choose someone who should be the translator of that page or of those pages in this site. So here you can activate multiple languages and then you can generate a site per language. To be able to do that, you have to change your browser language on the one hand, and on the other side, you need to change your language in your M365 account. I will show you that in the demo afterwards. If we talk about Skybow, and if you create Skybow solutions, there are a couple more things that we would have to translate. So if we think about forms, for example, we have buttons like these on the top. We have form titles, all these things. Also the headers in the sublist control, the tab names, like here, documents and Dokumente, if it's German. If you have sections, you can have titles on top of the section. Or if you have a process step control, then you can also translate those. And of course, all the buttons outside, like list actions, page actions, and so on. If you have actions with user interaction, like you send an email or you send messages, you can also do that. But in general, I have to say, if you want to create a multilingual solution, it takes you much more effort to do that. It's more effort to translate everything, also the logic on the form and the logic, as you can see here. You always have to check for the language, and if it's, in that case, if it contains DE, so that would cover German Germany, German Switzerland, and so on. So then you do these actions, like you show a message in German and you generate a document in German. And if it's something else, like a fallback, we have the English like the English message and the English template. So, and as you can see, for each language that it will be on top, like 3-4 languages, it takes you more time to do that configuration. And what will be on top, and I will show you that in the demo as well, is we can package and publish all of that. That's the thing here. So let's have a look how we can configure this and how we can roll it out. So let me switch over to. So what I did is I have basically I prepared like 2 different users and 2 different browsers, because if I switch the language, normally it takes about, it depends. It can take up to 10 to 15 minutes until you really see the language changed in SharePoint. But I will show you. I have one Here I have a Chrome browser with my own account, Matthias, which is all in English. It's my contract solution. As you can see, everything is English. The buttons here are English. The text here. If I open up a contract, the whole form, it's all in English. So the buttons here on top are English. Even the status here on the right, all the field labels are English here as well. The tabs are English. And there are some things that are added by skybow, like default things like these new button or upload files. They are also automatically translated. So if I would switch over to my other browser, which is this one, this is an Edge. I configured it to be German, and here I'm logged in with another user. Here you see everything is in German. So this is in German, this is in German. If we open up the contract itself, we also see here it's German, the tabs are German, all the columns are German. So everything is German. So what you need to do is, on one side, you have to go to your browser settings and then to languages or Sprachen in German, and say you prefer the language, you want to do the changes, because normally you have like a base language, which is English, for example. And if you have additional languages, you need to add it here. And then you need to say, you have to show this browser, Microsoft Edge, show it in this language. So that's what I did for German. So you need to restart the browser, and now all is in German, as you can see. But this is not the only thing. You also need to go to your profile. So here, click on your user. You say show account. And then in the account settings, we have this settings and security. It's in English, Einstellungen und Datenschutz. And there you have this language and regions. This is the display language, and this is the language for your profile. So everything in M365 will be displayed in that language, and you can change it. I changed it to German for that user, and like I said, it takes a couple of minutes, at least for me. Maybe it's different for you, but it took me a couple of minutes until everything was displayed in German. So all the navigation controls and so on is all in German now. Also here, the settings and so on. So if let me switch back to my English browser. So if we go to the site settings, site information, and then here, settings. For now, I only activated the German language. So it's here on the language settings. Because what you probably know is this one here, this one. So you see it's only German activated. By default, all languages are activated. But as soon as you say you want to have a translation as well, then it's only activating the languages that you specify here. So if I would specify another language like Danish, and I go over there, I see Danish now available here as well, and I can add a translator. So this translator is needed for translating additional languages, especially for pages and navigation and so on. So that's what we will have. As soon as you activate that option, you will have this language changer here in the upper right corner. And in the beginning, you will not see additional languages. You will just see the English version, and then you can generate a separate page, for the other language. So now I have generated one for German, and it's created in this German folder. So it's a separate page. That's what I mean. This one is really for the content, if you want to translate the content. In our case, we also have to translate some things because of the web part titles, or especially the web part titles. because the rest is all translated automatically if we do the right configuration in the background. And that's what I would like to show you right now. No, basically, one more thing. If you have activated the additional languages and you go to edit, for example, the navigation, you will see an additional button saying translations. And here it's saying it's English. And if you click on translations, you can add the translation right away. So that's, in my opinion, that's much better, or that's how I would expect to have it for columns as well. But the columns and the list names, etc., unfortunately, there's no such feature. It's for the navigation, and but not for the columns. So for the columns, you really have to change the language of your browser, and then go into the list and just open up the column, rewrite the column display name, and it will be stored for that for the specific language that you're logged in. So here, if I go to my list settings, I see the columns all in English. And as you can see, you cannot say like translation and show the one from German. That's not available here. That's why you really have to switch over to the other browser and then go to the list here and just translate it, the columns one by one. So here you see these column names. They are all just translated here. Just make sure you have the right language activated. Normally you see by the standard controls here, or the navigation. If it's in your language or in the language you want to translate, then you're correct. So if we now go to Solution Studio and have a look in, so this was all like out of the box possibilities. So now if we go to Solution Studio, there are a couple of things that we have to do to make everything fully multilingual. And the thing is, we take our expression language and everything that is, for example, the buttons. As you can see, it looks much more complicated because it's not just a fixed title anymore, the display name. So what we did is we made everything expression enabled. And with the expression possibility, it allows us to add an expression to check what is called the UI culture name. And the UI culture name will tell you the language that you are currently using. So if I remove that once again, you will find it on the context page, and there's this property UI culture name. And this UI culture name will contain this notation here. And as you know, there will be an ENUS, ENUK, etc. Same for German, DE, 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 DECH, and so on. So that's why you cannot just compare it to ENUS, for example, because it can be another English version. So that's why I would say it's more, it's better if you search these placeholders with contained, and then if it's German, return this value or text, and for the rest it's English. So in my case, I just have German or English. If you have more, then you have to switch over to an if-else statement, which is even more complex. So you would have to jump to function and do really an if it contains DE, then German text. If it contains, I don't know, SK, then it's Slovak text, and so on. So this is the one if you just have like 2 languages. And this one, this notation, you can now copy, so maybe in your notepad, and you can really use it everywhere where you can use expressions. And we can do expressions for the buttons, we can do expressions for the tabs. So as you can see, I mean, details, I said, okay, it's the same in German as in English. That's why I left it like this. But the button name here, for example, it's the same. It's just a check for Dokumente. And then the number in brackets is not translated. It's just the first part which is translated, Dokumente or documents. And I copied it really everywhere. Even in some cases, you have you want to have a different label text. I mean, here the label text is just reminder offset. But if you want to have a longer label text, then maybe in the list view, that's what I have here. Then I could do that as well, because here it's saying send reminder blah 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 weeks before deadline. It's a very long text. In the form it's okay, but on the list, on the column itself, I have a shorter name. But if I want to do that on the form, I need to translate it that it will really be multilingual. I always use the same term. Blah, blah, contains, and then German, otherwise English. I can do that as well, for example, on the new form, where you have the description of columns, because the description of columns, we cannot translate them. They are just out of the box, so just delete the descriptions from your columns and then add them just as a text. So what I mean is, for example, here, this notice period, we used to have a text below which was called in months to give you an idea of what this number will be. Is it month or days or years? So I simply added a rich text control. So like this one, rich text, this rich text control. And in the rich text control, I also place that placeholder, which checks if it's German, then in Monaten, otherwise, and I styled it the same way as the field description. So just I display it below, so it really looks like a field description. I do have a button here as well. So this button is there to show a help, and the same is on the button name. So everything is now expression enabled, and I can make it dynamic. The same was on the start page. The buttons, these skybow action buttons that we had, they were also translated. And it will also look, a bit strange because of my translation. But same approach here. Just the display name, which is translated using the same approach. I will first go here. That should be faster. So what we've added is this new section on the miscellaneous for the language. So here you have 2 things. The first one is that it will package the language settings. So those are the settings that where you specify the languages, if it should be translated or not. So the things which are displayed here, the settings itself about the translations. So the thing that we've configured on this page, should that come along with the package, and if we deploy it to another site, that we also have just these 2 languages activated, for example, or as well these additional translation settings. if you set it to on or to off, that this will stay exactly the same on the deployed side. This is the first toggle here. And afterwards, for now, we only support these 7 languages. Those are also the 7 languages which are supported on our forum in general. What I mean is we do have some out-of-the-box or we do have some controls which are automatically translated, or used to be automatically translated before that feature. Because, for example, you have, I will show you on that forum, you have a new lookup link. There is no way to translate this one. So this one, new item. Now it's English. If I go there in German, it's saying neues Element. So this one is translated automatically by skybow. There are other things that are automatically translated, like messages you see sometimes, or for example, on this sublist, the buttons that will appear here, they're translated by us already. Search, it will be Suche in German. So those things are translated, but as well only in these 7 languages. So, and every language you activate and you change you translate it to that language, you can activate it here, that it gets packaged and published. Languages which are not activated, like this, they are grayed out because they are not enabled on that site. That's why you cannot check it here. There is always one base language. So this is activated by default. That's the language of the site itself. So this is the only thing you have to check. So these 2, and then you have everything in the package. If you go into the backend, things in the background, then you will always see the columns in the language, like client side, like in the browser. You see the columns in the language. So you can also do the translations right within Solution Studio. So here they are English. And if I would switch over to my German browser, as you can see here, all the columns are German already. So I can also do the translation from here. Sometimes you can, it's faster than doing it in SharePoint. Because we just have that dialog. You change it, save, and you go back and you take the next one. And that's it basically. That's the only thing. You do the new package and you deploy it, and you have everything which comes along. So here I deployed it to a production site. This is my production site, which is this is my production site. So as well, I marked it in blue, that we see it's a different site, it's production site, and here everything is German as well, even after the deployment. The combination of SharePoint out-of-the-box functionality and skybow Solution Studio features gives you the possibility to build fully multilingual solutions and deliver them by a couple of clicks. If you like that content, then hit the subscribe button below and follow for more like this.